Hey, you Kiss fans, and welcome to Kiss and Chat on a Wednesday night on the eve of the July 4th holiday. What's going on, everybody? Everybody ready to talk some Kiss? I had such a blast 2 weeks ago chatting. I was hoping people showed up 2 weeks ago to talk, and we had such a ball talking not just Kiss, but all things like music, hard rock, metal. So I'm hoping there's a lot of people hanging out tonight because I would think the majority of people in the States, obviously, would be off of work tomorrow. So let's see what's going on and talk some. So I was trying to think of a subject. So I thought, you know what, let's talk about what about the Kiss studio albums from the 70s? Favorite songs, album art, how cool are the inserts? Because they always had some great inserts inside the albums. Just some fun shit, but just chat, hang out for a little bit, talk music, and have hopefully everyone has a cocktail because I am off tomorrow, so I'm gonna have a cocktail. A nice big Foster's oil can. Shout out to you Australians. But let's see who's in the chat. Oh, Gene's awesome. Gene wants to rock all night. What's going on, Gene? And of course, a friendly resident Kiss fan like myself, John Patterson. Let me go rock and roll with Pat the Collector. Yeah, so I thought let's bring it up and talk about just the Kiss studio albums from the 70s. It's not talk solo albums. We could probably do something different later on with the solo albums. We could do something different with the live albums. Just going on with like some favorite songs, maybe some solos, songs you don't really care for, or some of the songs you like that, let's face it, if you Kiss fans know, that it wasn't always the original band playing on a lot of those records. But fun shit like that. Let's just see where it goes. Hey, Colin, how you feeling, man? Shout out to my buddy Colin. Is that you crawling up my stairs? Actually, I was grabbed some of the CDs just so we could refresh my memory and go through them. I didn't grab Unmasked because technically Unmasked, it came out in 1980. So we were going to stick strictly with the 70s. Well, we can throw anything in there. There's no fucking rules here. Who gives a shit? But I hope you're feeling better. Hope you can hang out and chat. I know Colin's under the weather with COVID. Just as he starts his holiday, as his vacation, which sucks. That's usually my kind of luck. I'm off for the next 4 days. I'm amazed I'm not sick. I'm a little stuffy from my allergies, but I'm amazed I'm not sick. All right. Okay, so let's look at that. Colin is shooting right from the hip. What's your least favorite song? Let's go album by album from the 70s. Okay, so let's start with the first Kiss album. So Kiss released in it was February of 74, produced by Kenny Kerner, Richie Wise. And the production wasn't bad. They weren't the greatest producers. But if I had to pick, so many staples are on the first album from Strutter, Black Diamond, Cold Gin. It's like it just reads like a who's who of everything, nothing to lose. But if I had to pick the weakest song on it, probably, well, those Kiss geeks know that there's two versions of the first album. The first album, when it was released, didn't have Kissin' Time. Then they put Kissin' Time after it. Kissin' Time, I think it was a Bobby Rydell song. I don't think he wrote it, but I know Bobby Rydell popularized it, if I remember correctly. But I would have to say Kissin' Time is a skipper for me. Some people might say Love Theme from Kiss, but I kind of like that, especially when I think back in the early days of the club days, it used to be called Acrobat, just an instrumental. I actually don't mind it. I take that over Kissin' Time. Kissin' Time, I'm like, leave it to Bobby Rydell. So if I had to go for my first, if we start with Kiss's first album, I could definitely skip Kissin' Time. Anybody here? What would you guys skip on the first album? Let's see what everybody's saying in the chat. John Patterson says, a little known fact, 70s Kiss albums, like everything else, had to be produced in the country of origin where they were available for sale. True. Colin's feeling better. Good. Hope you're hanging out tonight with us. Hey, Love Gun. One of my favorite albums, my first album. Love Gun 2112, so you must be a Rush fan as well. First time I saw Kiss was November 7th, 79 at the LA Forum. Wow, that must have been a fucking show. I mean, I know the Dynasty tour was kind of a train wreck, but I would love to have been a fly on the wall to see them in the 70s. I did not get a chance to see them. I mentioned that in the last Kiss and Chat. Mom and Dad would not take us. Yeah, the first album is flawless. Yeah, Kissin' Time. Yeah, I could do without Kissin' Time. I actually like the Love Theme from Kiss. I could deal with that. But everything else it's just a perfect album. I mean, All right, I brought them out just to refresh my memory. It's hard to see the Dark Kiss. So you got Strutter, Nothing to Lose. Fire, of course, Firehouse. How could you not forget that? Cold Gin, Let Me Know. I love Let Me Know. For those who know, that's the first song Paul Stanley ever played for Gene Simmons. Kissin' Time, which, like I said, I was like, I could do without it. Deuce, Love Theme from Kiss, 100,000 Years is just fucking epic. One of my favorite Kiss songs. And Black Diamond. I mean, come on. How much more perfect of an album could you get? Right out of the gate, too, right? Like I said, the production is a little dated, but everything is just comes through. Only thing I would change is the end of the album. When Black Diamond just drones on, I always stopped it. I never really needed that. I never understood why they did that. I could do without that. The opening band was Breathless. Really, I have the Kiss Alive Forever book. Have you guys out there had that? It was the Kiss Complete Touring History up to shit. I should get it. What year it was? I'd love to see them update it. It was great to see all those bands that some of them you never even heard of that used to open up for them back in the 70s. Kiss' first album for John as a kid could have done without Love Theme and Let Me Know. I've changed my perspective over the. I like Let Me Know. It's a nice little ditty. But I could do without Kiss in Time. That would be mine. But that's just, hey, this is all subjective. That's all. It's going to get harder as we move forward to the other albums. Let's see. Colin says, I would have loved to have seen Kiss in the 70s, but being born in Ireland and not being born until 74, it wasn't really in the cards back then. Same here. I'm only 2 years older. I was born in 72. And I mean, I've started liking Kiss in 75 and begged my parents. My parents parents were cool. Wasn't deprived by no means, but they were not going to take us to a Kiss concert. No way, no how. So I didn't get to see them till the 80s. So I didn't see them in makeup until 96 during a reunion tour several times, and then many tours after that. And several times in the 80s without their makeup. Colin says, I must check when Kiss first played in Ireland. I didn't see them till. I'm curious too. I know I have the book. I could break it out. Didn't see them until 88. Yeah, I didn't see them until I think it was 87. You were right there with me at the Crazy Nights tour. That's when I finally got a chance to see them. My brother was old enough that he was able to take me. So you figure it in 87. What was I? 17? I was 15 when I finally got to see him. But if we move on, so anybody watching this after the fact, hit us up in the comments. Let me know, what would you skip off the first album? And before we move on to Hotter Than Hell, this is tough. What's everybody's favorite song off the first album? That's a tough one. I'm going to look and sit there and try to think of what I can honestly say is my favorite song off this album. I would honestly have to. It's a close second, 100,000 Years, but I would have to honestly say Deuce, because I just loved it. Always loved the riff. Loved how they used to start the concerts with Deuce, and I've played it 1,000,000 times. So I would have to say Deuce would be the favorite. Yeah, but hit us up in the comments afterwards. What's everybody's favorite? It's still in the chat. You were 14, yeah, 2 years apart. Yeah, throw some out there. Let us know what would be your favorite of the first Kiss album. And then we can move on to Hotter Than Hell, released in the same year, 74. Same producers, Kenny Kerner, Richie Wise, but a much muddier production. Now, I would love to see them go in there and really clean this up. I mean, this is actually when they came out with the remasters years ago, and so it definitely sounds a little bit better, but it's always a very muddy production. Colin says Deuce, same thing. Yeah, I mean, 100,000 Years is great. Black Diamond. I mean, there's so much good stuff on that, but I would have to say if I had to pick my favorite, it'd definitely have to be Deuce. Yeah, I love the riff, and I love how the earlier shows when Paul Stanley would play it on a 12 string. It was awesome. John's first concert was Kiss in July of 77. Cheap Trick was the opener. That would have been a show to see. I'm so jealous. It was a small hockey arena with speakers stacked to the rafters. The flames were so intense, it singed the hair of the kids up front. Wow, that's awesome. Oh, God, I would love to have been there. Holy shit. That would have been fun. Now, have you ever tried to look, John, to see if there's any footage? I mean, there's always a lot of footage that's popping up, man. If you go on YouTube, there's a guy that's got all 8mm footage, and he splices in concerts. Maybe if he doesn't have that exact audio, he splices in some other ones like flawlessly. Did you ever look to see? Is there any video footage of them in 77? In the small hockey arena that you saw them in? I'm just curious. Gene doesn't remember. It's been a long, long time. Yeah, I know. I feel it's one of those things where this is just something I've been listening to for so many years. I mean, I brought them out but I don't even need them to sit there and tell you what's on them and what I really care for, what I like. But I would have to say, so now we move on to Harder Than Hell, released in February. Not February. I forget the exact date. I have to look it up. But released in 74. It might have been September. Should have looked up the date. Same thing, like I said, produced by Kenny Kerner, Richie Wise, and it's a little muddy, much more muddy production, but the songs seem so much darker on this album than from the first album. You know, Strange Ways, Going Blind, Got to Choose. That muddy production really does make for it, and it does. I mean, to me, it's I don't know. It sort of defines this album, if that makes any sense. McC, what's up, man? There he is. That's a Kiss fan. What's going on, brother? So, Kiss, Harder Than Hell. Some great songs. Like I said before, if you had to skip one, what would you skip? So, if I'm looking at it now. Man, the writing's so small. But you figure you got to choose. Parasite, Going Blind, Harder Than Hell, Let Me Go Rock and Roll, All the Way, Watching You. Oh, God, I love Watching You. Mainline. I would have to say if I skip something here, I don't know if this is blaspheme. I never cared much for Going Blind. I just thought it was such a drone-like song, just drones on. So I don't hate it, but if I had to skip one song in this album, it would probably be Going Blind. And truth be told, that's usually the one I do skip if I skipped anything. I mean, I know it was kind of cool. It was out of the left field that when they did the MTV Unplugged, they played 2 songs off this album, right? It's Coming Home and Going Blind. Couldn't believe they did that. But I would have to skip Going Blind. Kind of droned on to me, and it was very, yeah. McC's, yeah, Harder Than Hell, awesome, great album. Still remember getting it as a kid when I finally got it. It's difficult to skip anything, but if you had to skip one, so Mick, I think you came in after we did the first album. What would you skip from the first album? I said if I had to skip anything, it would be Kissin' Time. Colin says, I would love to know if that show of them playing in Rio from the exposed VHS was filmed in its entirety. That was, as far as I know, it was. Isn't it on? Shit, I haven't watched the Kissologies in ages. I think it's on one of the Kissologies. It might be on Kissology Volume 2. Somebody out there correct me if I'm wrong. Pretty sure it's on there. From Maracana Stadium in Rio. Pretty sure it is. Really? Oh, God, I love Let Me Go. You would skip Let Me Go? I don't know. I love it. Truth be told, I like the live version better with the extended outro that they play. So that I would definitely like the live version better. John says, there is footage of Kiss playing the same arena in October of 90. There was a recent semi-pro bootleg of the 77 concert I saw on vinyl. Really? Yeah, it's kind of cool. There's so much. The age of the internet is so great. I mean, never in my million years would I think there'd be so much cool shit out there that you can find. I mean, I was a kid, going to Kiss conventions and down to the Jersey Shore boardwalk and buying bootleg VHS tapes. There was only so many concerts you could get, or like Kiss Vision compilations. But now, You go on YouTube and find tons of shit you never thought you'd ever say. It's great. Nick C says off the first time he's really Strutter. I can see that. I mean, I like Strutter, but definitely not my favorite off the album. I get it. Yeah, it's a great song, but yeah, if you had to skip one, you like the '78 version on Double Platinum. Okay. Kiss should have that would have been good. John, you're right. They really should have did that, just like they opened up Unplugged. That they really should have did that. Colin, he likes Going Blind. Always liked it. Strange little quirky song. Probably would have been better on Gene's solo record though. Yeah, you know what? I could see that. It would have blended in because it was very quirky and I don't know, to me just there's so much great stuff and that to me that just brings me down. It just brings me down, that song. It's just like slow and drony and yeah, maybe it probably would have fit better because Gene's solo album was like a giant smorgasbord of different styles and songs. So it probably would have fit better in there. But like I did with the first album, so we said, what would we skip off this album? What would be everybody's favorite song off of Hotter Than Hell? That's a tough one. I would have to say my favorite song, like I'm just looking through them and going, I keep going back to it. Probably Parasite. Love that riff, man. Simple riff, but I love it. So I would have to say if I picked my favorite song off this album, it would have to be Parasite. What say everybody in the chat? And for those watching after, throw it in the comments. Let's see. Mick says Going Blind is good. Ace of Soul in that song. Yeah, he had some real great solos on this album. I will say that. You're absolutely right. Killer solo on Strange Ways. Gene says you would have to show the albums and show the songs, then I would tell you what I remember. I'll do that. Yeah, Colin, see, that's why I would like Brothers from Another Mother. Parasite. John, never a fan of Strange Ways? Really? Watching You is killer too, man. It's tough. Great song. So this is Hotter Than Hell, Gene. So if that jogs your memory, for those that know, they know about the Norman Seeff infamous photo shoot where they were all completely shit-ass drunk, well, except for Gene, and it was like debauchery. All these scenes in the back. And of course you know that one. The OG. Let's see. Parasite. Oh, great song. Yeah, I love Parasite. Watching You is killer too, man. Real great version on Alive. But we go forward another episode where we just do all the live albums. And we could just include all of them. You know, everything from Alive 3 to Symphony. You know, just go the whole gamut. But I figure we just do the 70s stuff tonight. Start small, have some fun, get some dialogue going. But let us know in the chat. And after what your favorite song is and what your skip song is, what you would skip. So here we go to now. Those that know the history, and I know John knows his history. Here we go to 1975. Kisses, Dressed to Kill. Produced by who? The founder of Casablanca Records, Neil Bogart. Why? Simply because it was cheaper. He didn't have the money, so he just produced it. From what I understand, he was even there. Anthrax's cover of Parasite, yeah, we know they're big Kiss fans. So always love the cover. I did make it to this street corner. People take pictures of it in New York City. But this has some really killer stuff. I remember getting this vividly. I got this on vinyl. I want to say, I think it was 79. I got this on vinyl. And for those that were in the Northeast area, I remember a department store called Corvettes. And that's where I remember they had a really good vinyl section at Corvettes. And I remember my dad buying me Dressed to Kill on vinyl. Worst song, Anything for My Baby. Yeah, I was never a fan. It doesn't fit. It kind of didn't. It doesn't fit with the rest of the songs. But I don't hate it. But yeah, I think I think you nailed it on the head, Mick. I think of when we talk about a skipper, what song you would skip. I'd probably skip Anything for My Baby off of this album. John had the original strip album, which gave me the first 3 records. I didn't have the individual albums until the late 80s. Yeah, I remember, God, I got the originals. I got it secondhand. I didn't even get it in the 70s. I remember getting it secondhand after the fact. Later on, I already had the individual albums. Then, of course, I was a collector, so I wanted the originals because it comes with a booklet, came with those cards, came with a sticker. Let's see. Gene says, I think I know that one. Peter's studio performance, outstanding. On this, yeah, this did have a good drum sound, and the production and the engineering a lot better. Big step up. They didn't use Kenny Kerner, Richie Wise, definitely for money reasons, and I think they were a little disappointed with the sound of Hotter Than Hell, but the sound on Dressed to Kill, leaps and bounds, much better. Hey, what's up, Eric M? It's in the chat. 100,000 Years, favorite song. Oh, great song, man. Especially the live version when they do you feel high? They get the big fire pods going. Love that shit. Colin agrees. Yeah, I would say the same, man. That would be my skipper off this album. Anything for My Baby. Don't hate it, but I would skip it. Oh, you played drums. Awesome. Peter's definitely. Oh, he's so underrated. I mean, yeah, he really did lose it. Going forward, and we had his demons, and he really did lose it. But I always loved his drumming. It was the backbone. It was just a different style, which made everything so much better. Who the hell is? Hit me up. Nobody know. On Dressed to Kill, I was not rocked by Love. Oh, really? I always liked Love Her All I Can. I thought it was a cool riff in the beginning. Underappreciated. Yeah. Big time. She is classic. So those hardcore Kiss fans know. Have you ever heard the original version of She on the Liquid West? I can't even speak today. Sorry, it's a little stuffy. My allergies. Wicked Lester album, where it basically sounds like Jethro Tull, but like flutes and everything. It's just so if you get the Kissery box set DVDs, you hear it on that. They definitely made it a lot better on Dressed to Kill. Yeah. But that's Dressed to Kill. If you guys want, keep throwing them in the chat. Let me know what your favorite song is and what your skip song is, what you would skip from Dressed to Kill. Then later on, we'll talk about album cover art, because that's what I always loved about Kiss. The cover art was always so great. And now, of course, in between, we had Kiss Alive, but we'll do the live albums, like I said, in a separate one. Mick has the Wicked Lester demos on cassette from the 80s. Yeah, I got it years ago as a bootleg, and just so much different. I mean, it was basically like Jethro Tull type stuff. It's not horrible, but man, they were smart to just move on to something different. Big time. But now we'll move on to one of the more famous ones, Experimental, with Bob Ezrin producing, Destroyer, and from 76. Now, much more polished, much more intricate, well-written songs, interspersed with all the different sound effects that Bob Ezrin was so famous for. And album cover art on the first 3, awesome. But this is when we start getting to some amazing covers. That's just absolutely awesome. And this album, a lot of favorite songs off of this one. Destroyer, not your fave, really? Yeah, people tend to gravitate towards Destroyer, but it's not my favorite album. The Love Gun is. Out of the studio albums, Love Gun is definitely my favorite. Do like Destroyer, but I just love the rawness and like the more down and dirty rock and roll from Love Gun. Colin says, I would have to admit I would skip rock and roll all night. I've just heard it so many times. That's true. Yeah, and it's the you're so used to the live version. So if you listen to Dress to Kill, it's kind of beat. Colin says, best song, God of Thunder skipping track is Flame of Youth. Really? Oh, God, I love Flame of Youth. I thought it was such a fun song. For me, so favorite song off of Destroyer. Favorite song, I could actually, King of the Nighttime World. Love King of the Nighttime World. Always love the riff, love the solo. So for me, I think my favorite song on Destroyer would be King of the Nighttime World. And if I had to skip one, truth be told, and I will say it's a skipper because as a kid, I always skipped it. And for me, it's Beth. Never hated it, but just didn't want to Kiss ballad. That's all. I appreciate it for what it is, what it did for them. It's not a horrible song, but interspersed with everything else I want to hear. I want to hear a hard rock. I'm like, so a skipper is Beth, and this doesn't mean I dislike it. Just everything else on here flows so much better. Gene says my favorite ones on that are Shouted Out Loud and Beth. Yeah, I mean Beth is not bad, like I said, but I just always skipped it. Maybe I was bored of it. But Shout Out Loud kicks ass. Kicks ass. 75, I heard Rock and Roll All Night studio version on a one-speaker AM radio in your parents' 71 Plymouth Valiant. That song opened up a world of possibility and creativity, which spoke to your 11-year-old self. Yeah, telling you, man. Kiss, we're here talking about it now, 52 years old, and you're a little bit older than me. That's why we're here talking about it all these years later, because it was that much of a eye-opener for us. See, man, mixed with me. Beth. Big skip. Yeah, just not a fan. I know what it did for them and helped them out, really saved them, but never really cared for it. Eric M says his vinyl collection is Destroyer, Rock and Roll Over, Love Gun, Alive, Alive 2, and Double Platinum. What do you have, Pat? Sorry if I've talked about this. Oh, I have them all. Vinyl collection, I have every Kiss album. Not true. I don't have... I never got off the soundboards that they had coming out recently, past couple of years. And I don't have Monster, and I don't have Sonic Boom on vinyl. Just never got around to getting it. One of these days I will. Well, truth be told, I really don't collect them anymore. I usually just use my CDs. I gave all my Kiss vinyl to my son because he collects vinyl. This younger generation loves vinyl, so I gave him all, and he takes care of them. And maybe one day I'll get... I think all I really need to complete it is those two. Kiss's first album? Yeah, you can get it. Go to like used record stores. They always have a version of it. You have a sealed copy of Destroyer since the 80s. So you have a sealed copy from the 70s? That's cool as hell. That's awesome. Yeah. Actually, I just pulled the tag off. You gotta love Wally World, man. I mean, come on, $8.98 for Kiss t-shirts. I've got like 5 of them in the last like 2 months. Every time I go, there's another Kiss t-shirt, and I'm like, my wife's like, really, another t-shirt? I'm like, it's $8.98 for God's sakes. I gotta buy it. Although it's the best is the one is it the one I have at the cut off sleeves, which is actually it's the version with Eric Singer and Tommy Thayer, and it says like 76 tour or something like that. it's got the later version of Kiss. Way to go, Wally World. Yeah, I used to have a lot of vinyl years ago, but when vinyl fell out of favor and I started buying CDs, that's what I have here. All thousands of CDs. I got tired of moving my vinyl from place to place where I was living, so I just whittled it down and just kept only certain things that really like the My Blue Oyster Cult albums, the Kiss albums, New York Dolls, and a few other things. And like I said, I don't even have them down here anymore. I just gave them all to my son. He keeps them up in his room. Hey, what's up, Peter? Peter says you can get their first album on CD cheap at KissArmyWarehouse.com. I got one for $4.99 plus postage. Yeah, you can find used Kiss CDs anywhere, and like I said, you can usually find the first album, first original print too, relatively cheap, depending on. You'll probably pay a little bit more if it's the first version without Kiss in Time, but unless you're a collector, what's the difference? Just buy the later version with Kiss in Time. Mick has 4 different versions of Kiss originals in '76. What are the 4 different versions? I know that there's obviously the first release, then there's one, then there's the second printing. There's a Canadian version. What's the 4th one? I really don't know. Let me know in the chat. I'm just curious. Yeah, there you go. Well, you're answering as I'm saying. Yeah, I used to have the Canadian version because it's got a different gatefold with all the Kiss logos on the inside. Oh, Japanese. Yeah, Japanese. Yeah, I forgot about the Japanese one. Never had the Japanese one. I did have the originals too, but I never had the Japanese version of the first originals. Yeah, Colin, I know you got a huge vinyl collection. I'm looking, so I'm gonna meet up with Colin this fall when my wife and I go to. We're gonna go out to Manchester for the Love of Horror. Meet up with Colin and our good friends Frank and Darren from the Slaughtered Lamb podcast. And from there, my wife and I will be flying to Ireland to celebrate our 25th wedding anniversary. And then I'm going to hook up with Colin in Ireland. I'm not going to go hang out and go check out the media room, which means I got to really get off my lazy ass and finish booking everything. Let's see. Gene says a lot of those songs I would have to hear them. Then I might remember. Well, you know what? Just go on YouTube. Kiss has a channel there. You can just listen to it all for free. Everything's right there on YouTube for free. Don't even need to buy it. But yeah, so that's Destroyer. Anybody else popping in? Just let us know. What we're doing is just going through what we like about them, picking our favorite song, a song we would skip. What about a favorite memory? Do you remember when you first got this? I remember getting When did I get Destroyer? I remember, obviously, my brother got it first because he was older. I got Destroyer probably at 78, if I remember correct. My own version of it I got in 78, if I remember correctly. And here now we go back to some stripped down rock and roll vis-a-vis Eddie Kramer and Sean Delaney. Kiss Rock and Roll Over, released in 76. Wasn't it so cool that they used to Kiss would come out with 2 albums every year? And what's nice about it, like, especially when CDs came into favor in the late 80s and the 90s, and they realized how much more music they could put on here, and albums got way too long. And in my opinion, albums got way too long. It's like they threw too much stuff on it. You know, with some songs that weren't all that great, but they wanted to just fill up this CD. I like a quick 30, 35-minute album. I'm set. You know, 6 songs on one side, 6 songs on the other side. Good. Give me 2 of those a year. Golden. And just keep with the killer artwork. Love this image. So I remember my brother got this first. Those that had the vinyl, remember it came with a Rock Roll Over sticker. So I remember my brother taking it out of the album and sticking it right on the paneling in our bedroom and pissing my father off. And it sat on that paneling forever. And this was the first one to come with a merch form to order merchandise. Join the Kiss Army. But Rock and Roll Over. Okay, let's throw it in the chat there. What is favorite song off of Rock and Roll Over? I could tell you exactly what it is because I was actually listening to this in the car on the way home. For me, my favorite song has always been Mr. Speed. Love Mr. Speed. Great song, great guitar riff. Every time I pick up my guitar, I end up playing that riff. Just love it. So what say everybody in the chat? What is your favorite song off of Kiss Rock and Roll Over? Your favorite studio album? Yeah, this and Love Gun are neck and neck for me. Aside from, Alive. Hey, Jordan Decker, what's up, man? What a shake. I almost missed your live, but I made it. Not the biggest Kiss fan of all time, but Love Gun is my personal theme song. Nice. It could be your porn stage name. Love Gun. John says on Rock Roll Over, he usually passed on Baby Driver. I always like Baby Driver. You know, I always like Peter's raspy voice, truth be told. Mick says he's got a tie. Look at that for our first tie. Love him and leave him, Mr. Speed. Love it. Love him and leave him. Love it. I love the version they do on Don Kirshner's, albeit they're lip syncing. It's the one from the album, but it's just a great video footage of him. With what did they do with the Don Kirshner? They did Love Him and Leave Him. They did I Want You, and of course, Beth. Oh no, Hard Luck Woman. They did Hard Luck Woman. What am I saying? Yeah, they did Love Him and Leave Him, I Want You, and Hard Luck Woman. Colin likes I Want You. Great song. Kick-ass song. Eric agrees. He's with that too. Meg says, I'll pass See You in Your Dreams. Any version. Yeah, I know, right? Take your pick. Rock and Roll Over. Gene's solo album. Unplugged. I think the best version of it is honestly the unplugged version. That's probably the version of it I like the best. Okay. But anybody have any memories? When did you first get this? Especially you older Kiss fans out there chatting. When do you remember getting this the first time? This I remember getting. I got this for my birthday. And I want to say it was 78 at my birthday. Because I remember we were at a family party. And I remember it was right around my birthday. I remember my mother's cousin. Well, my cousin, the second cousin. I remember them giving me Rock and Roll Over and Hotter Than Hell that year for my birthday. Remember it vividly. Yeah, I Want You is awesome. Great shit. Just great. This was great because this had such a great sound because you guys know that they recorded this inside an old theater in Nanuet, New York, which is only about an hour from me. And it's just some great shit. That's Kiss Rock and Roll Over. Rock and Roll Over probably got around, wow, 87. Wow, that late, huh? Mick got in 76. You do. Man, you're old. Hey, most diehard Kiss fans usually are. It sucks. But you know what? We're better. We're aged. Fuck them. John says, does anybody remember a late night show in the early 80s, pre-MTV, called Rock, Rhythm, and Blues? It consistently played the 3 promo songs from Rock and Roll Over in a row. No, I don't remember that. Rock, Rhythm, and Blues. No, what did it air on? I really don't remember that. That's interesting. I have to look that up. I wonder, is that something, if you Google it, or even, do they have any of it on YouTube? That'd be cool to check out. And of course, now we move to 77 for my favorite Kiss studio album. Love Gun. Love this. I remember, for those of you guys know, I always remember seeing the commercials for Love Gun. Anybody now, you older folks like myself, do you guys ever remember seeing any of the Kiss commercials back in the day? Like either for any of the albums, because there was a commercial for, now you guys fans out there, help me out. I know they had a commercial for Hotter Than Hell. They had a commercial for Alive. They had a commercial for the originals. They had a commercial for Rock and Roll Over. And they had a commercial for, obviously, Alive 2 and Love Gun. I remember the Love Gun one vividly. Colin didn't get into metal punk until about 85 when you were 11. Oh, you lay bloomer into it, huh? I never asked this. Are you an only child? Do you have an older brother? See, that was why I got into a lot of this stuff at an earlier age, because you tend to gravitate and shadow and annoy the shit out of your older brother. Or sister, too. I don't think my wife knows I'm down here doing this right now. So she's calling me. I will text her and let her know that I'm live. Let's see. Almost Human, Play Hooligan, pass. So which is which? So Almost Human you skipping? And you Play Hooligan? Just curious. Because me, I love Hooligan. I love Almost Human. So now, if we have to say a favorite song on this album, whew, this is tough because there's some great songs on here, man. For me, I'd have to say, truth be told, probably right out of the gate, I Stole Your Love. Love, I Stole Your Love. Great riff, song I played 1,000 times with my friends. I'd have to say I Stole Your Love would be my favorite song on this album. Look at Gene. Look at that. Tomorrow Tonight. Good song. Their other attempt at a rallying song, much like Rock and Roll All Night and Shout It Out Loud. George says, how about that Kiss Demon in the WCW? Yeah, came out the Godfather. No, you know what? It really didn't go over that well. You know, because I really don't think a lot of Kiss fans were really into wrestling. There's nothing wrong with it. I just don't think it was a good blend, you know? You were at the WCW event when they introduced the Demon, huh? That's cool. Never saw him. Eric M says, Shock Me and Love Gun favorite. No complaints there. Oh, Almost Human play. I was going to say, I love Almost Human. You know what I like about, now I'm sure you've seen Kiss and the Attack of the Phantoms, the European version release of Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park. When those what did they like, those animatronic creatures are coming, and you hear the opening riff of Almost Human. I always remember that vividly. It was like perfect timing because it's not in the regular US cut. Colin says, no, he's the only child. Prior to that, I was really into the Beatles and the Who. Not wrong with that. Love them both. First album he ever bought was the Beatles album around 78. I was 4. That's very cool. Love the Beatles. Love the Who. Let me just text my wife, let her know that I'm out here. Oh, she's going to try to call me again. Let's see. Oh, no momento. Sorry about that. Sorry, just 1 second. There we go. Get that out of the way. John says, Love Gun rules. While Destroyer had better production, Rock and Roll Over was harder edge rock. Love Gun defined the summer 77. I even had a girlfriend named Christine at the time, do you? Was she 16? That would have been too good. Yeah, to me, Love Gun and let's face it, was the last. Love Gun was the last album where they all played on. That was it, back in 77. You think about how long ago, because after that, I mean, the rails came off on a few other tracks earlier on, but really came off the rails after this. Colin's worst songs are Almost Human and Hooligan. Wow, I love them both. But hey, like I said, everybody's entitled to their opinion. Nothing wrong here. I get it. The other wrestling tie-in has an ECW came out to a cover, if you will, of War Machine. Oh, really? I guess I'm showing my age. I grew out of, I used to watch wrestling back in the early 80s, and I'm going back to like the days of Bob Backlund, when Bob Backlund was champion, and Bruno Sammartino. Because my dad used to watch this. I used to watch that. And then it morphed into, you know, I remember watching WrestleMania, the first one. It morphed into all that crazy shit with the Samoans and George Animal Steel. Who are those other guys? Who was it? Jimmy Snuka. That whole crowd was like pretty much when I watched it the first couple of WrestleManias, and then kind of got out of it after that. Punk rock and metal fan, not a huge fan of hair metal, with the exception of Rat, Crew, and Cinderella. Yeah, I was never over the moon about hair metal. A couple of bands I liked, a lot of great guitar players, talented guitar players. But yeah, never too crazy into like the hair metal scene, by no means. Doyle plays War Machine in this set? Really? That's cool as hell. That's it, because I went through a whole phase. I mean, I'm a diehard Kiss fan, but I went through a whole phase in of like punk rock and skate rock. I was a skateboarder, so we can go down a whole rabbit hole of all that stuff, man. I was a big Sex Pistols fan, still am. Loved all, like, you know, the Dead Kennedys and what other bands were back in the day. A big, huge fan of the Damned, Johnny Thunders, the Heartbreakers. I could go down a whole rabbit hole with all that stuff. I still love all that stuff. There you go. Minor Threat and Black Flag. Love me some Black Flag. Actually, it was great. I went and saw me and my co-host on, and my good friend Brett. We just went to Chiller Theater about a month or so ago, and I got a nice picture with Lee Vink from Fear. Love Fear. I'm sure those punk rock fans out there have seen the decline of the Western civilization, the first one with Fear in it, and good old Lee Vink, Mr. Body. The Plaster Caster Pass. Really? Oh, I love Plaster Caster. Another one I was shocked. I couldn't believe they pulled that out of their ass for Kiss Unplugged. It actually sounded pretty damn good, too. John says in July of 77, when he saw Kiss for the first time, they played Hooligan. Yes, they did. They played they played it a few times on that tour. Hooligan, Christine 16, I Stole Your Love, Love Gun, and Shock Me. Yeah, they really played a lot on that tour from Love Gun. That was it, man. That was their heyday. Oh, look at Mick's thrown all in there, man. Love the Dead Boys. Love me some Stiv Bators, man. X, love X, the Pistols, Screamers, the Avengers, Fear, Circle Jerks. Yeah. Yeah, we can go down a whole rabbit hole of punk rock, man. Big time. I love it all. Trying to think of some other good bands that I loved back in the day. I mean, I was a big Dead Kennedys fan. Loved them. I took my son to, albeit it wasn't with Jello. It was with Skip Skipperson. I took my son to see Dead Kennedys probably, I say 5 years ago. It was great. It was Dead Kennedys and TSOL. Big TSOL fan. Both versions. Jordan says the movie Role Models basically is an entire tribute to Kiss. Kiss at the end it was legendary. Awesome movie. Role Models. I never saw that. Really? I have to write that down. I am uninformed. I never saw Role Models. I have to check that out. Truth be told, probably tonight, after hanging out with the wife after this for a little bit, I'm probably going to go check out. Anybody check out the new Beverly Hills Cop? Axel Foley? I know a few people that tuned in last night to our Beverly Hills Cop 1 and 2 watch-along double feature. Man, it was rough getting up for work this morning. It was a long stream last night. But I'm going to go check it out tonight. I heard it was good. Role Models. Cool. I'll have to check that out. Mixie, oh God, you got to see Gigi Allen? Yeah, he's the shit, and oh yeah, he was. I don't know if I want to see some guy naked on the stage, shitting everywhere. That was one I would have passed on. He was mad. That dude was messed up. Yeah, yeah, exactly. I love me some. Yeah, big Misfits fan. Killing Joke is awesome. Yeah, yeah, we go down that the whole way. I have to check it out, though. Yeah, I did not know that. Thanks, man. That's why I love these chats. You learn something new. Sure as hell don't claim to know everything. I don't know anything. Believe me, just talk to my wife. I don't know shit. Yeah, so that's Love Gun. Anybody after this? Throw the comments. What would be your favorite? What would be your skipper? And when do you remember getting it? If you did you get it in the 70s, you know? That's always the cool thing. And what was cool about it is this. What? Those of you that own the original vinyl, what did this come with? Remember a cardboard cutout of a gun that said Bang. And of course, had a merch form in there too. And I always loved the inner sleeve where you put the record and it was Kiss in blood. Good shit. I always wanted to get that tattooed. See, yep, there you go. The Love Gun. Make sure you got that. Actually, in this, I know the reissues came with stuff, but I think it was just a picture of it. Doesn't come with the actual, yeah. So for those that don't know, you got that little gun. That's just obviously this is the remasters of shows you. So you got that little cardboard gun and the actual vinyl for those that did not own it. Good shit. And last 70s Kiss album we're going to talk about tonight, because like I said, Unmasked. I know. That was 1980. Bang. Yeah. The Return of Kiss. You remember the commercial? The Return of Kiss. Kiss Dynasty. I remember this vividly. Just you gotta remember back in 79, of course, there was no social media. I don't remember seeing the commercial for this on television. So I grew up in northeastern New Jersey, a town called Edgewater. Like I said before, It's actually the town of Garrison and Copland. Um, 2 towns over, well, it's actually more, maybe 3 towns over in Hudson County was a town called Hoboken. Those of you probably heard of Hoboken, birthplace of Frank Sinatra. But that's where my mother was from, Hoboken. Her and my aunt used to own a beauty parlor in the town. So we spent a lot of time down there. And on the weekends, there was record stores back then. I used to love to go in record stores. And I remember my father taking me to a record store, and I saw like all these big, oh God, I love to have my hands on all this cool Kiss Dynasty stuff because the album had just come out. Didn't know anything about it because no social media. Actually, he was taking me there because I wanted to buy more Kiss cards. You guys remember the Don Russ Kiss cards? I wanted to get more to complete my set. And I remember him walking me to a bunch of like five and dime stores. They didn't have any, or they had like maybe one pack here and there. And I remember going to this record store, and I was like, a new Kiss album. Of course, now Dad's like, well, you got to wait for your birthday or wait for Christmas or something like that. He wasn't going to buy it because he did buy me packs of the Kiss cards. But I do remember vividly seeing all the advertisements for this when it came out. The Return of Kiss. So, of course, people shit on it, say it's the Kiss's disco album, but there's some really good stuff on here. I mean, the only stuff that's really got a disco beat is I Was Made for Loving You. You know, I mean, sure, no, something has like the real good bass riff in it, but it's not really disco-y. But I like it. So, Dynasty. Favorite tune off of Dynasty. Let's see what's going on in the chat. See, says Dynasty. Awesome. Yeah. Skip Save Your Love. Save Your Love. Don't hate it, but I could see that. I have to think about my skipper. And I have to think about my favorite. Best song 2000, man. Skip the rest. I think we talked about this on the last episode. Did you guys ever go back and listen to the original version of 2000, man, from the Stones? It is a completely different song. The same words, but it is like psychedelic rock. It was like the Stones psychedelic version. Try at like a Sgt. Pepper's. Go listen to the original 2000, man. Very, very interesting. Gene loves, I love, yeah. You gotta love I Was Made for Loving You, man. It's good shit. Sorry. Has anyone seen John 5's Kiss collection on Kiss My Wax YouTube? Yeah. Yeah. Kiss My Wax channel is good. What's the other channel that's there? It's Kiss My Wax. It's what the hell is the one where they show the different versions? What's it? Jason Herndon, that guy hosts it with the other guy whose name escapes me. They always have John 5 on. I mentioned this thing on the last one. If you guys aren't following John 5, if you're a Kiss fan, go on Instagram and look up Knights in Satan's Service. John 5's Kiss collection is just off the fucking charts. I mean, I think it rivals Gene Simmons' collection. It really does. He's got some insane shit. Right. Her Majesty's Satanic Requests or something like that. I have it. And actually, I really like it. I don't know. It was kind of frowned upon and shit on for being a ripoff of Sgt. Pepper's. But I put it on every once in a while. There's some good stuff on it, man. It's definitely it's definitely not typical Stones, but there's cool shit on there. I always wanted my daughter used to take piano lessons. I always wanted her to learn She's Like a Rainbow, and She's Like a Rainbow is off of that. There's a lot of strange shit on that, that album if you have never heard it. But my favorite song, let's see. I would have to say Dirty Living, man. I love Dirty Living. Peter Criss's only contribution to this album, and I love it. I love Dirty Living. Great riff, good vocals, good guitar solo, too. It's actually a really cool guitar solo from Ace. And if I had to skip one, I don't know. I wouldn't skip See If You Love. I would probably skip X-Ray Eyes. Never cared for it. Don't dislike it, but I can see me skipping that. That would be my choice. Yeah, his collection. I mean, every day I follow it just to see what's on there. Just he posts something every day, and it's just on fucking believable. Yeah, Dirty Living, great song. You know, now if Peter could have got his shit together and started doing more shit like that, he would have lasted a lot longer in the band. I mean, obviously, us diehard Kiss fans know he didn't play a stitch on this album. It was Anton Fig, so and on Unmasked as well. But yeah, that would be me. I would think my favorite would definitely have to be Dirty Living, and I'd probably skip X-Ray Eyes. It was like, I just don't dislike it, but it's just a little odd for me. Everybody remember when you first got this? I remember, I think I got it, if I remember correctly, it was Christmas that year. I finally got it. Remember, like I said, my brother and I used to collect stuff, but we had to have our own versions because we didn't want to share. So there's my parents, like at Christmas time, buying 2 copies of Dynasty or 2 copies of Alive 2. So we could each have our own. Mick has a 12-inch version of Dirty Living. Really? Cool. Charisma is good. I always like Charisma. It's got a cool riff to it. It's got a real cool riff. I know there's if you go on YouTube and look up, I forget what Kiss Cruise. I remember them playing it. They've always played some really off the wall shit on it. Anybody here going to any of the Kiss Cruises? Never made it to one. Every year I wanted to go, and I'm like, I just couldn't do it. Young kids, affordability. I never made it to a Kiss Cruise. My friend of mine that I grew up with, diehard Kiss fan, made it to every Kiss Cruise, and he's like, "You got to make it to at least one. You got to go with me." I just never made it. And I think they're probably going to keep doing them and probably just do like acoustic stuff on them. Maybe one of these days. John says, a question for Kiss fans. What would have happened if Dynasty was released as a double album? Well, it all depends what the additional tunes would be. If there was maybe, I don't know, maybe there's some leftover stuff. I mean, if you listen to their box set, there's some unreleased tracks on it. But it all depends if it was a double album. I don't think they wouldn't have never have done a double album because, for God's sake, they couldn't even get Peter Criss to even play right. So, Kmart 79. Dynasty Cubes, the promos, they're hanging from the ceiling. Those, they're rare as shit. That's what I remember seeing, man. All that shit. Who would have thought? Get all that stuff, man. Oh, God. I did have in my collection. I had the Unmasked Cube. I didn't have the Dynasty hanging cubes, but I had the Unmasked Cube when I had my collection years ago. But yeah, that's Dynasty. And here it is. Everybody knows the story. They even used Peter Criss's producer, Vinny Poncia, who produced his solo album. So maybe next week, 2 weeks, we'll talk about something, not necessarily albums, but we'll pick a different topic. Throw some ideas, some Kiss ideas in here, or just music, whatever. Throw some ideas, some shit you like the guys that like to talk about. And maybe another episode we can do the solo albums. I'm sure everybody's got opinions on those. We can do live albums. We can do the 80s albums, the 90s. Not too many from the 2000s. But yeah, we can go through everything. I sold everything. Yeah, I had a whole. I got to bring up the pictures. Shit. All right, next episode, I'll scan a bunch of photos. Like I told everybody, go on this channel. I have an episode where I showed a bunch of my favorite stuff that I had from my collection that I sold. I sold my collection back in the early 80s. Like I said, at the time, it seemed like the right thing to do. Needed money for other things, buying a house, starting a family, and Kiss collecting had just become. It's even worse now. It's just completely unaffordable. I mean, when when you want to collect the Kiss pens, and you're paying $400, $500 for a pen, who's got that kind of disposable cash? When you're starting a family and buying a house. If you do, God bless you. But I didn't at the time. So I was like, you know what? It might be the right time. Made a lot of money on it, but I would give anything to have it all back. I was told the wife, if I ever hit the Powerball, look out, world. I'd be buying it all back. Ming says, I'll find some doubles of Kiss vintage. Oh, I appreciate it, man. That's awesome. I do. Well, back then I always had Halloween stuff, but there wasn't a lot of Halloween stuff to collect. Most of my Halloween collection that I had back in the day was just really a lot of promo stuff because I love that stuff. Like the posters and lobby cards and vinyl and laser discs and all rare shit like that. It's only within the last 10, 15 years that they started pumping out tons and tons of Halloween shit because it's become part of pop culture now. All these horror movies, between all the Halloween shit that's out there, Friday the 13th shit and Freddy Krueger shit. Everybody loves that shit. So that's why I have much of it now. And it's, truth be told, in the beginning it was affordable, but it's now starting to become like Kiss collecting, where it's just getting very expensive. So I basically only really, if I buy any Halloween stuff, it's really stuff that's based off the first few movies, the first two, just actually the first three movies, truth be told. I just have to you know, draw the line. John says there was some talk in '78 after the Soul albums were released, they were getting a double album ready. I don't remember that. Yeah, I don't remember them talking about getting a double album ready. That's was it one of the books? I read the books about it. Truth be told, I read all their bios and Nothing to Lose. I read them all years ago. I should go back and revisit them all. And we can do some episodes on that. We could even do if you guys are interested in doing this. On this channel, I was doing a book club, a Halloween book club, where we were reading the Halloween novelizations and discussing the novelization versus the differences in novelization to the film. We could go do some Kiss books, man, and just do like a Kiss book club when we just go from book to book to book, all the way back to the Robert Duncan book in the '70s. For fuck's sake, I mean, I'll do all that shit. That'd be fun. From Role Models, see ya, Ronnie. His dick is the gun. Really? Oh, I gotta watch it. I gotta see what it's streaming on. Meg says, huge horror and Kiss collection. I have too much. I've been called the new Uncle Forey. Really cool stuff, man. But you gotta throw some pitch. You have a page where you post all your shit? Like if you go to my Instagram, which is in the description of this video, I post pretty much all my Halloween stuff there. And shit about the channel, what's going on. John says the in-store Kiss stuff was very limited in Canada. No Mego dolls, no Kiss radio, and no Halloween costumes. Really? Man, they really shit all over the Canadians up there, huh? I remember we were talking about this last week, and I thought of it after the fact. I remember having some Canadian versions, and shit. Now, why am I forgetting the name of it again? What the hell was the name of the? Shit, I thought of it the other day too. The name of the Canadian company that produced the Kiss albums, or Quality Records. That was it, right? John, they always had that Quality Records stamp on the Canadian versions, if I remember correctly. Jordan Decker says, what is my thoughts on Rush? Any chance of a stream on them? Love Rush. I mean, I would do a stream on like anything to do with like hard rock. I like Rush. I have all their albums and know a lot about them, but I don't know if I could do a stream on them because I really don't know too much back story on Rush like I know Kiss. But we could just do a whole stream on music, rock music, hard rock, favorite bands. I mean, I know enough of Rush because I love Rush. Big fan. Love Alex Lifeson. Love them all. Still to this day, if something comes on the radio or if I put on like Hemispheres or something, I just think to myself, I can't believe Neil Peart's dead. That's like when I hear Van Halen, I'm like, I still can't believe Eddie Van Halen's dead. It's just crazy shit to think about. They're gone. Oh, okay. Didn't realize that was you. I apologize. That's right. Now I know. Very, very cool. Awesome. But we could just do streams on other bands. I'll talk music all day long. Fucking A right, man. Yeah, love me some Rush. It's funny to this day. Every time I go somewhere, I just start freaking tapping YYZ. And my son be like, why do you always tap that out? I go, YYZ. He's like, what the hell is that? I go, what do you mean? Come on. Come here. This is Rush. Come learn. John says, for him, the Chris Len. Oh yeah, Kiss and Sell book is really, really good. I've read that so many times. Realistic telling of the band's business and music. I mean, it really, really is. It's just that's just a great read. For those that haven't read it, I know it's out of print, but you can find it. It's readily available for a reasonable price on eBay. Jordan Decker says Neil Peart. Remember that? It's Neil Peart, not Peart. Neil Peart's death was tragic to him. Best drummer of all time, in your opinion? Yeah, it's just crazy. That's the thing. If I get older, you start seeing all these people die off, man. And truth be told, they weren't that old. Of course, Neil Peart died of cancer. Eddie Van Halen died of cancer. Eddie, because I'm a guitar player. No slight on Neil Peart, but that was a rough one. when Eddie died. That's the reason I started playing guitar. Eddie Van Halen. I mean, I love Ace. He was one of my idols. But truth be told, when I saw back in '84, I saw the MTV video for Hot for Teacher, and you see Eddie Van Halen walking on the table in the library playing the guitar. I was like, I have to learn how to do that. That is fucking awesome. That was just too much, and that's when I started playing guitar. Oh yeah, I can only imagine. Rush has got to be like the Beatles up there. I mean, come on. I mean, what other big band? I mean, I know there's a lot of famous Canadian rock bands up there that obviously didn't break through over here. Only what's the Canadian bands that broke through here besides Rush? Rush, Triumph, maybe, and who else? What other Canadian bands? Was Zebra Canadian? Why am I thinking Zebra? Maybe not, but for some reason Zebra's popping in my head as Canadian. I could be wrong, but I know Triumph was. What other Canadian bands broke through in America? Eddie was on borrowed time since he caught the pick of I know. I don't know. I guess he just didn't want to admit because I know he used to smoke like a chimney. It really had nothing to do with those guitar picks, the metal guitar picks. Saga. Oh, I remember Saga. They were Canadian. Wow. I think if Michael Myers were to listen to any Kiss song during his killing, it would be either Almost Human or Mr. Make Believe. That's a pretty cool thing to think about. Okay. If you were to play, well, actually, it's already been done. But say in Halloween, the original Halloween, if you had to take a Kiss song and place it in there, Almost Human would be good. I mean, because we know famously what's in there. Don't Fear the Reaper from Blue Oyster Cult, one of my favorite bands. But we obviously know God of Thunder's and Rob Zombie's version. April Wine. There you go. What the hell was your big song? Was that Sign of the Gypsy Queen? I'm trying to blow the cobwebs out of my mind. Sorry, I sound a little stuffy because here's allergy's been killing me. See, Voorhees, I didn't know, and Sword and Stone, I don't know. I always like everybody here listen to Eddie Trunk. I always like when Eddie Trunk brings on like Sebastian Bach and a couple other Canadian musicians, and they do like a whole summit on Canadian bands I've never heard of, and it's cool because I go down a rabbit hole and check some of them out. Voorhees, Sword and Stone, don't know them. That's pretty cool. He's due to do one of those episodes too, like they do like the Canadian Band Summit. It's really cool. Jordan Decker, worst Canadian band. Is Nickelback Canadian? I honestly never knew they were Canadian. Not a fan. I don't hate Nickelback. I just don't really care for their songs. But I didn't know they were Canadian. They are? Did not know that. Eric M. Saw Rush for the first time at concert on Saturday when MTV had concerts on Saturday night. I remember that. Was that I remember in the early 80s, I remember when we got our first VHS, I used to tape those concerts on the weekends. And I remember I used to have a bunch of them on the tape. I had obviously a Stay Hungry, Twisted Sister concert I recorded. The Iron Maiden one with Paul Di'Anno singing, where they used to have the clips of Iron Maiden and was it Iron Maiden and Wrathchild they had clips of? I know they had the clips of Iron Maiden on there. That was the video. But one of the ones that I used to record there, I had shit. I remember there was there was a collection of bands. I remember it was they had who was on it? But I remember recording Sabbath with Ian Gillan with Born Again. I recorded that off one of the concerts. What other concerts were there? I had a bunch of them. Holy shit. Let's see. And Jason would listen to the Kiss demo, Sword and Stone, which is on the Shocker sound. Oh, okay. I thought it was talking about the Canadian bands. Gotcha. Oh, Shocker is awesome. What a great movie. Love Shocker. Horace Pinker. John says BTO, Triumph, Rush, April Wine, The Guess Who, Gordon Lightfoot. Yeah, who we just lost. Yeah, I like I said, I like all styles of music. I know Gordon Lightfoot's very folkish, but I love Gordon Lightfoot. Strangely, Anne Murray are the goats in this country. Well, Anne Murray, it was huge when I was younger. I remember my mother loved Anne Murray. The Guess Who is good shit too. I don't know. You Canadians, let me know. Is Helix Canadian? I honestly don't know. Some other Canadian bands. Sum 41, Bare Naked Ladies. Did not know they were Canadian. And I didn't know Steppenwolf was. DOA did know. I remember DOA. What album I had from them? It was like The Great White North or something like that. I forget what it was called. I had one of the on cassette years ago. Nausea is Canadian too. I don't even know the band Nausea. Colin says, first two Maiden are superb. Always preferred. Yeah, I mean, I love me some Bruce Dickinson. I love, Number of the Beast. Love some Power Slave, Fear of the Dark. I love everything they've done, but yeah, I just love the first two albums of Paul Di'Anno. Raw, like heavy punk rockish stuff. I always loved his voice. Yeah, the first two are just stellar. Canada's nauseous. BTO was the favorite Canadian band of Eddie and Alex Van Halen. Really? Well, good stuff. Bachman Turner Overdrive. Good shit. Randy Bachman. Well, we'll hang out for like another 10 minutes or so. Throw some more stuff in there. And throw some ideas. Any other Kiss stuff? Any other like music chat stuff? Like we can do like a Kiss thing, and then we can go into something else. Like this is great. We splinter off like we did last time. And I'm learning some shit here myself. Some bands I did not know that were Canadian. That's awesome. Anybody pick anything up recently that's really good music-wise? I haven't bought anything new in a long time. I'm trying to think, what's the latest album I bought? I can't even remember the last CD I bought that was new. The Skullfuckers are Canadian? Now is that real? I don't never heard of the Skullfuckers, but I like the sound of that. That's something I could get into. But no, anybody get anything new that's out there? Can't think of anything new that I got. Let me think about it. Yeah, I can't think of anything new I've gotten in a long time. I love new music. What sucks is you never really hear it anywhere. Nobody really ever promotes it. The only way you really find out about it now is just social media. It's not like you're going to get to hear it anywhere. Jordan Decker lives about an hour away from Canada, but I haven't been there since the 6th grade. Nowadays, I have to get either a passport or an enhanced ID to get over the border. Yeah, I got to go get one of those real IDs because I do some traveling for work, and I think by this time next year, you have to have it. They're not going to accept anything other than a passport or your real ID. If you could put a super group of your choice together with you playing with them, who would you? Oh, that's tough. Oh, that's tough. Let's see. Guitar, God, there's way too many. Honestly, truth be told, if I could have a guitar player, I'd take Steve Ray Vaughan. Drummer, oh God, because it had to be people that blended well together too. So it wouldn't be like, oh, you pick this guy who's in left field. So if I put a super group together, I'd take me some Steve Ray Vaughan. Would be a good drummer that would go along with that. Maybe like Steve Gadd. Oh God, I always love Steve Gadd. He got some crazy shit going on in the drums. Bass. Shit. I mean, Geddy would be good, but like I said, it would have to be something that would blend well together. Who would I pick on bass that I really, really like? I don't know why his name his keeps popping in my head because I'm a big fan of him. I'd probably get Doug Pinnick from King's X. I love him on bass. And actually, I would have him sing too. I love his raspy, gritty voice. That would be one. I mean, there's several ones you can put together depending on who you pick. That's just one that would come to mind. I think that would sound fucking crazy. Could you imagine that? Doug Pinnick on bass, Steve Ray Vaughan on guitar, and Steve Gadd on the drums. Very interesting. Jay Weinberg, good shit. Look at this. Colin remembers better than me. The last albums I bought was the Carpenter ones from Detroit. That's right. And honestly, I haven't even opened them up and listened to them yet. I mean, the Lost Themes is the only one I don't know anything off of. I got to open it up. Actually, I've been meaning to get it on disc so I could download it and put it on my phone. Take care, Gene. Have a great 4th of July. Thanks for popping in. Gene, Kiss fan. I love it. We'll be back on Sunday night for the podcast. But yeah, thanks. I hope you have a great 4th of July. Be careful out there. Anybody out there with fireworks, don't lose a limb. Especially you musicians, don't lose a limb, please. Eric M says Eddie Van Halen, John Bonham, Chris Squire, Ronnie James Dio. That's a hell of a super group right there. I'm not going to argue that at all. John says the Headpins opened for Kiss in '83. Crown Lands opened for Kiss in Western Canada on the end of the road tour. Interesting. Yeah, I never heard of those bands at all. But, like I said, there's a lot of Canadian bands I don't know. Mike says Portnoy, Geezer, and Paul Gilbert. Wow. Vocals. Are you saying Paul Gilbert on the guitar and vocals? What's the other Gilbert? I'm trying to think. Maybe I'm missing one because I didn't think he sang. Could be wrong. That's some good bands out there, some good people. Are you talking about? Yeah, you talking about Paul Gilbert, or am I thinking of somebody different on vocals too? But what's some good topics for next Kiss chat? We'll do in 2 weeks. Do another Wednesday night stream in 2 weeks. We can do we can split off, talk some other music. Because I can just talk about this shit all day long. And I learned a lot tonight too. There's a lot of bands I didn't realize were Canadian. That's awesome. I definitely should go check out Role Models. I would check it out tonight, but I think I'm going to do Beverly Hills Cop. I have to go check it out. I'm very curious. But we could do what's some cool shit? Some cool Kiss videos we've seen. You guys remember all the Kiss videos from the 80s and the 90s? They say Corner Gilbert. Early Maiden. What Early Maiden? Help me out. Explain. Because I'm trying to understand. Unless my head's that clogged up from allergies, I'm missing it. We can do Kiss merch. Want to do like a class, go through like all the 70s stuff? I'll get scans of a bunch of pictures of the shit I used to have. And you know what? If you want to do that, you guys send me some pictures of your stuff. I'll bring them up and say, hey, this is stuff. This is a mixed collection, or anybody else that's got some stuff out there. Early Maiden discussion. You can do that. Send me some pictures of collections if you want. I'll throw that stuff up there. Collins, look at that. Mike Patton, Sim Kane, Gordy Walker, and Geezer Butler. Look, Geezer came up twice. Yeah, well, you know what? Pick some and let me know. I'll throw it up there. Jordan Decker, thanks for the super chat. $1.99 super chat. I'm giving up a slice of pizza here, but fuck it. Thanks, buddy. Hey, I'll put it towards the beer fund. Buy myself another Foster's oil can. Actually, I do have one more for tonight. Yeah, well, you know what? Hit me up on Instagram and let me know if there's anything special you want to throw up. Then I can get them off of Instagram and throw them up there. Anybody else have some Kiss stuff too? If you have a Kiss collection, hit me up on Instagram. I'll bring them up and I'll scan a bunch of stuff that I used to have, and we can talk about all the Kiss merchandise, where you got it. Did you have it as a kid? Because a lot of the stuff I had as a kid, but I was a kid. What do you do as a kid? You play with it. You don't sit there and keep it in pristine condition. So a lot of the stuff I had in my collection were, I bought after the fact. As I got older, I got nostalgia for it because I did play with the Kiss dolls. I played with the Kiss color forms. I had a Kiss lunchbox. But I didn't use it for I never was able to use it for lunch because I went to Catholic Catholic grammar school. And they wouldn't allow it. There's no way in hell I was going to be able to walk into school with a Kiss lunchbox. The nuns would have beat the shit out of me. There was always we had the brown bag it. Yeah, hit me up with some photos. I'll bring them up. Absolutely, I'll bring them up and show her. but that'd be cool, especially if you have some really rare shit. I have to go back and check on your page too. I will do that between now and then. Awesome. All right. Well, I'm going to head out and go say hello to my wife and finish the rest of my beer and probably see Beverly Hills Cop tonight. Eric says that, yes, I did. I'll show pictures. I had the full. I had the dolls as a kid, like I said. Then, of course, I had them loose because for those that had them, remember, you could cut out the guitars on the back. And you can make like a little drum set and make a little Kiss play set. So I did cut them all up, but I did get a real nice set later on that were still in the boxes. So I'll throw some pictures up. So yeah, so what's Paul Gilbert? Yeah, I didn't know Paul Gilbert sang. I really did not know that. I mean, amazing. I mean, fucking insane guitar player, but I did not know he sang. Crazy shit. You're a big so you're Portnoy on drums. Are you a big fan of the Winery Dogs? Man, I love the Winery Dogs. Holy shit, what a great band! I just saw Richie Kotzen solo, maybe 6 or 7 months ago. I saw him solo recently, and he's just amazing. Love him. One of my favorite guitar players. God, that guy could sing too. But I'm gonna head out. Yeah, guys, thanks, man. Thanks for joining. This is awesome. I love this. Looking forward to it again in 2 weeks. We'll do it. Send me some pictures. I'll go check out Mick. I'll check everything out, and I'll throw some Kiss stuff up there, and we'll talk Kiss merchandise, and we'll talk anything else, man. This was just a lot of fun. Yeah, happy 4th to everybody out there. To us Americans, thanks so much, John. Everybody be safe, and we'll be back here live on Sunday night for our horror podcast with some new subject, but not sure yet. We'll figure it out though. But yeah, everybody enjoy. If you're off tomorrow, enjoy your day off. Be safe. And let me just find my stuff here. All right, everybody, have a great week. Thanks for coming. Make sure you hit that like button on the way out. Help me out. And I'll see everybody on Sunday night.
I am talking about the real possibility that he is still out there.